Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the first race of Season 1 2022. We are here to start off the season in the ARCA car at Michigan and going out for our qualifying run. Pick this one to start because this is the car that I kind of want to try to focus on the most this season, both learning how to drive and seeing if I can do somewhat well in the point standings. May not always be able to run the highest strength of field times. But gonna try to run the full season in this and try to improve as I go along the entire time. See if we can, make the beginning weeks or drop weeks and try to finish higher up in the standings. Drop down the division because higher rating, but I'm gonna try to do the best that I can. So had a little bit of recent experience here in a league that I ran, so felt like this was probably the best combination for me to start out in. Still, learning how to push the car as hard as I can, especially in qualifying, but gonna do the best that I can to try to find some sort of speed out of it. Kind of middle car right now. I think the race might have split once, maybe. We're car number 8 out of 17, so probably an average strength of field for where we are, but just gonna try to make the most of it and see if I can get a better finish. One of my goals for this season across all series, not just ARCA, but I felt like it happened a little bit at ARCA as well as in trucks, was that if I can start qualifying a little bit better, I might be able to get some better finishes out of it. So right now we're sitting fourth, gonna see if we can try to turn a second lap that's a little bit faster. Kind of drove it a bit hard, so not sure if we're going to be able to, scrubbing a lot of speed off of 2. Just going to try to hold it as best as we can, see if we can make this lap any faster, losing a lot of momentum down the backstretch. I'm not sure if this one will be any quicker, but I'm going to try to do the best we can to hustle it into 3. But not, run it over the edge, not slide it too much, as that'll kill the momentum. Looks like we aren't going to turn a faster lap, though, so it's just going to come across the line to finish it out. See if we drop any further. Fourth won't be ideal in terms of starting on the outside line, but you know what, honestly, if that's as far as I drop, that's a far better starting effort than I've had in the past. So for me, this track is all going to be about tire conservation. It's the biggest thing. We were about 2/10 off, so I don't think I was picking that up. Probably was at best going to maybe get by the 6 for third. So not a terrible qualifying effort for me. Just don't have the pace to drive it crazy hard, but still feel like when I learned it before, I was putting a lot more emphasis on the long runs, the green flag runs, and trying to tire conserve while keeping somewhat of a decent pace. So hopefully that'll play into my benefit with this being 30 laps all green, and hopefully we don't fall back too far. Plan is that if anybody wants to go by off the beginning, probably first half of the race or so, not going to put up any kind of fight, just going to let them go, and I'm going to really focus on trying to save tires, especially the right front. Probably the first 20 to 22, 23 laps is going to be all about saving tires as best as I can, and then pushing hard, the last 5 to 7 laps or so, trying to make up as many spots then and get as close to a win as we can. Obviously, anything inside of the top 7 or 8, car number or better, would be a good finish for me. But with us qualifying fourth, I would love to try to keep it in the top 5 for the finish if I can. Just see if I can get any kind of shot at finishing strong to start the year. I actually tried to do one of these races, was run really well, and then had some hardware issues with the pedals. The throttles just went out. So it's technically my second race for that one. I really wish I could have gotten that race to finish for you guys, because I was running pretty strong towards the front of the field. It was fairly weak strength of field overall, but was running pretty strong and felt like I was doing a pretty good job of managing tires. So kind of disappointed I didn't get that one in, but just it is what it is. So gonna get off rolling here, get going, and the biggest thing is gonna be saving the tires. I'm really gonna be taking it quite easy going into the corners. And also trying to keep myself out of dirty air through the corners. Down the straightaways, I don't have a problem with drafting off to somebody, but if I see somebody that's running the same line that I want to do, whether they be the low side or if I'm moving up high and they're going up high, I just got to try to get out of their line as much as I can, keep as much clean air over the nose, keep that downforce going through the corners as best as I can. So Not sure what it's going to look like. We got some, higher number cars up here as they would be expected to, so not sure if those guys are going to be able to push the pace better. I feel like I'm getting better at tire conservation, but still weak in terms of combining both pace with tire conservation. I can generally get pace with absolutely terrible tire conservation, or I can get somewhat decent tire conservation but not have a lot of pace. So qualifying and really trying to find that are going to be my two biggest goals for this series, and that's going to be most oval series in general. But really, especially the ARCA and to a degree the C-Class fixed trucks as well. So gonna get ready to go here. Pace car should be rolling off shortly. We'll see how quickly the leader wants to go, and gonna get the season started off well, hopefully. Not the worst start. Kind of missed the shift there a little bit. That was on me. We've got the 6 to our inside still. Just going to stay to the outside of him going into turn 1. Ease it into turn 1 and just try to get through the corner cleanly without any issues. Don't want to loop it early on and put ourselves in a big hole already. Got the 1 looking to our inside, so I'm just going to hold behind the 6 right now, let the 1 go. I'm sure they're going to have the pace and the tire conservation for the run, so got no problem with letting them go. Going to try to find kind of a middle line, but fall behind them. Just watch the side-by-side battle between the 1 and the 6. Make sure that there ends up being no contact between them, as well as let them kind of wear the tires out. I'm running a little bit lower through the front stretch. This is kind of what I'm comfortable with. There's probably not a massive advantage to doing that, so just kind of line that I feel comfortable with and what I want to run. So 1's already working his way up to the front pretty quickly, so we'll find out if that's him having a ton of pace or if that's him actually burning stuff up pretty quickly. But lost 1 spot off the start. That's okay, not the biggest deal. Got a good bit of a gap out to the 13 out behind, so we'll see if anybody else starts making their moves or if we're able to not have any real pressure from behind. Trying to get off into the grass a little bit, just barely clipped it, so gotta be a little more careful about that because I don't want to loop the car around. Looks like the 6 is committing to the high line already. 1's kind of staying up there too. 1's taking a little bit of a lower line through the corner than the 6, but not a big deal. So gonna go by the 6, take that position while we can. Still feel like I was pretty light on the tire, so not too worried about that overall. If I can get any spots right now, it's not a bad thing. Just biggest thing for me is to make sure that I enter in late enough, but don't cut it down so hard that I can get that nice gradual arc into the corner that really doesn't load up the right front too much and keeps the momentum up. This being such a high-speed track, it's a lot about the momentum and keeping that up. Any little mistake that causes you to slide or have to lift or overload a tire or anything, that's going to kill your lap times and allow cars to pull away from you or guys behind you to close up. That's, a real big thing for me to watch. So looks like the 2 cars gone. About a second gap, a little more than a second gap over the 3 in second, but not sure how hard they're pushing their tires right away. Just kind of content to ride in line here with the 3, the 1, and the 6. Hopefully we'll all be smart and just run kind of nose to tail and not really push anything right away rather than get into too much racing. Looks like the 1's kind of taking a little bit of a later arc than we are. That might be something to take note of, might be an advantage that they have. Not sure if they're loading it or if it's turning into shallow. Typically I have the tendency of turning it into shallow, but I don't know, just gonna have to pay attention and see what everybody's doing. So trying to find that happy balance of saving tires right now, but also still using enough throttle through the corners to keep the pace up. Pulled away big time from the 7 and the 13 behind, so no pressure at all. Looks like it might be a 5-car breakaway for the top 5 at least, even though the 2 stretched it out by quite a bit as well. Kind of kept the pace. The gap to us, we're falling back from them, but the gap between the 2 and the 3 has been about the same the last couple of laps, so it's been about right around that 1.2 mark. So we're just losing a little bit, but like I said, I feel like I'm probably driving a little more conservative than I maybe necessarily need to, hoping that if I do that a little bit more up front, it'll leave me with a little bit more the back end of the run that I can try to make up that time and go by everybody, since tires are such a big deal here. So just gotta pray that I don't have any hardware issues, and if that's the case, should have, you know, a somewhat decent chance at a relatively good finish for me to start out the season. Again, you know, this is probably not a very strong strength of field overall, so I kind of discounted in my head a little bit, but you know, anything I can do to start and improve from where I was last year, I will be very happy with. So looks like the one's working to the inside of the 3. The swap positions there through entrance of 3 into the middle of 3 and 4. See if he's going to go chase down the 2 at all with that side-by-side battle that allowed the 2 to pull away a little bit, stretch the gap out to 1.5. 6 kind of just hanging on about 2 to 3 tenths behind us, so kind of tagging along. Not too worried about him really trying to do anything crazy on us. It looks like he's kind of content to ride along with us, similar to what we're thinking. He's kind of trying to ride in line with the 3, keep in tow with them. 6 gets a good run off of 2 on us. Not sure if he's going to look to our inside going into 3. Looks like he's looking that way, so just kind of shade up a lane or so. Give him the inside going in the corner. If he wants to push it hard, by all means he can. Looks like he kind of overdrove a little bit, washed out of the corner, so rather than lift and kill my momentum, I'm just going to go to the inside of him. I think that might have been him trying to push it through the corner a little bit harder to get the pass done, and just caused him to get a little loose, wash up a little bit. So we were able to avoid that. Didn't really kill the momentum. I don't think I really did anything to run the tires too bad other than what I have been doing. So keep it clean, keep it rolling. Just kind of following in line with the 3 right now. Again, trying to stay, you know, off of their line just so I can keep some clean air over the nose, stay a little bit lower through the corners right now. I don't feel like I need to go way up the track yet. And looks like the 2 is stretching it out a little bit from the 1 now. Gap's 1.6 between the 2, and the 1 up front was 1.5 before. So not sure if, again, the 1's kind of just content to ride, do some tire conservation, or if the 2 has just really got that much more pace. So I guess we'll find out the last probably 10 laps or so of the race where everybody's going to sort out in terms of their tires and their race strategy. Probably lifting a little bit more than I need to right now, but again, trying to save as much rubber as I can, give myself the most amount of potential the last 10 laps or so. And that might be why the 6 is, you know, catching us so much. If he's, you know, because he keeps getting runs off the corners down the straights. If he's getting it in a little bit earlier and you know, pushing a little bit harder through the corners, then he'll find that extra bit of momentum. But got on a little too early there, had to flip the throttle. It's going to kill the momentum off the corner. You're going to see the 6 get a good run down the straightaway potentially. We held steady. We were probably going to catch to the 3 a little bit, but because of that issue with me through 1 and 2, that's going to kill our momentum a little bit. So I'd rather do that though than run the risk of getting the car either overloading the right front, you know, at best, or possibly getting it into the wall with the right side. You can't take any damage here, kill the aero. And with the way the damage, you know, model is on the cars, it's gets sucked into the wall, and you kind of just stay into it really for quite a while. It takes a lot to get them off, so you can cause a lot of damage on a track like this, lose all your speed potential. So had a good corner there. It looks like we might have picked up a 10th on both the 1 and the 3. 2 is still stretching it out, picked it up another 10th or so. Kind of backing my lifting points up a little bit, lifting a little bit more out, a little bit longer. Got to do a little bit of a better job trying to ease back into the throttle if I can. Didn't have quite so good of a corner that through that end, 3 and 4, lost a 10th again, back to the 3 and the 1 that we gained off of 1 and 2. So just kind of running about even with them. Approaching halfway, got a couple more laps to halfway, so just really trying to ease the car around, not overload it too much, keep the steering deflection to a minimum through the corners, and just try to save as much as we can. We've got absolutely zero pressure from behind. You know, the 2 is broken away from the 4 of us, but it's definitely just a battle for the top 5, because the 12 has gotten by the 7, and he's still another, you know, almost 4 seconds back from the 6, so no pressure at all if the 6 were to get by us, which is why if he wants to charge up here and try to contend with them, he's more than welcome to take the spot right now, just because I'll let him burn stuff up and allow me to conserve a little bit more. Get a little bit lower than I wanted to through 1 and 2. It gets me a little bit loose. It's going to give the 6 the momentum off of 2. It's going to look down through our inside on the backstretch. Fine, same situations a few laps ago. We're just going to run the middle line through 3 and 4. Give him the inside, see if he can clear this one this time without having any issues watching up. Not too bad. We're going to get a little bit of a run off of him down the front stretch. Just dip it down low again, kind of pull the crossover again. Didn't have quite as much of a run as we did the last time, so it's going to put me in a bad spot with me running a little bit lower into 1 and 2 than I wanted to. Lifted a little bit earlier, had to wait a little bit longer to pick it back up just so I don't overload the right front. So really kind of need to avoid running side by side if the 6 is able to clear us off the down the backstretch. I may just lift early and let him go. Let him go in front, because running side by side is only going to kill our momentum and our tires more. No reason to do that. I lost quite a bit of time in that exchange to the 1 and the 3. You can see how far they pulled away. It's just all my fault there for trying to contend with the 6 a little bit longer than I needed to. So just regroup, try to hang tight with the 6, see if we can start working our way back up towards the 1 and the 3. Try to put ourselves in position to at least go after a podium and you know, see if the 2 is going to get caught back up by the back half of the race. We're halfway through, 15 down, 15 to go, so it's hopefully getting closer to the time where we're going to see who's got what for tires, and you know, if we've got anything to start catching back up to everybody. Hopefully I didn't leave too much of a gap to have to catch up to, but gonna do the best we can. If not, at least we're sitting in a spot for a top 5 to start out the year. I feel like a bit of a disappointment. Probably had pace to be a 4th place car, maybe even a 3rd place car, but just gonna see what we can do. Track temperature is getting a bit hotter, so we're just gonna watch for the corners to be a little bit more slick. That'll exaggerate, you know, the car not wanting to turn if the right front's wearing out, and then having so much wheel it'll want to, you know, slide off the corner. So it's gonna have to watch out for that to make sure that I don't overstress the car and burn off any kind of speed at all. Trying to do my best job to get it to turn off of the right rear rather than the right front as best as I can. So we kind of got some separate groups running right now. We're losing touch with the 6, but it seems like, you know, you got the 2 by themselves, the 1 and the 3 are running together. I'm going to try to catch back up to the 6 for us to form another group. 7 and 4 and 12 are all pretty close back there. There's a 3-car group, you can see them. Looks like everybody's kind of spread out, so Michigan tends to do this. You know, if everybody runs clean off the start, it can get pretty spread out and generally be a fairly clean race overall. So that's why, you know, tire conservation is, I feel like, an even bigger thing, because there's usually not a ton of wrecks to avoid in this. So it's all about trying to save tires better than the cars in front of you. You know, track position to start's a big thing, but being able to save tires as well helps out quite a bit. So just going to try to do the best we can, see if we can start catching back up to the 6. Not real worried about the traffic behind, even though they are starting to catch. I don't think they'll have enough time to get to the back of me unless I really have some issues. Starting to lift just a little bit early as I'm feeling like the right front's wearing out a little bit. Need to you know, make sure that I'm getting into the corner without stressing out the right front too much. At least want to try to make a run at the 6, see if we can get there to at least pick 4th back up and finish there. Looks like we got some slower traffic up front that the 1 and the 3 are contending with. Not sure if that's going to slow them down. Looks like that'll be the number 5 car. He stays high, they get by him on the low side through 1 and 2. Hopefully we'll be able to hit him in a good spot on the track, not lose too much time, and it'll extend the same courtesy. Pulling away from the 7 and the 12. Looks like they're almost going 3 wide possibly down the backstretch off of 2. The longer they want to do that, the more it'll also allow us to pull away without having to do anything different. So we'll just build a little bit more of a safety margin so that we're not, you know, even if we can't get by the 6, not too much of a risk for losing 5th. Definitely catching back up to the 6. Not really catching up to the 3 at all, probably losing a little bit of time. I think it was like 2.2 a couple laps ago. Now it's 2.4, so just trying to do the best I can to pick up whatever pace I can. See if I can pick up any position. 6 drives it down low. We do the same thing. You can't get too low, otherwise with the change in the transition, you can get the car loose like that. Kind of did the same thing the 6 did. If I wouldn't have taken it down so low, I would have had the shot to make up a good amount of time, but unfortunately I drove it a bit aggressively, brought it down a little too low and lost that, so just gonna have to reset, try to smooth out the corners, make sure that I don't have that issue again next time through, and we should have a decent shot at least trying to catch up to the 6 a little bit. Looks like the 1 and the 3 are almost thinking about side by side. The longer they can do that, the better it'll be for us to try to catch back up to them as well. 3 might have been smart to let the 1 go earlier on in the race like he did if he thought he was going to be able to save tires a little bit better. See if we get a little bit of better corner through 1 and 2 than the 6, close back up on him. I'm going to try to use as much draft as I can down the back stretch. Lift a little bit earlier, try to set up a decent 3 and 4. Unfortunately, with where the 5's at, the 6 is probably going to take our line away, run down low. We got to do the same thing because I got to get by the 5 as quickly as we can. Try to look to the inside of the 6 down the front stretch, see if I can use the 5 to set a pick to prevent the 6 from being able to get by him. Try to hold him up a little bit.
Still there.
It's probably our best shot at trying to get by him without wearing out the car too much. 6 looks underneath him, able to clear him. He's going to hold to our outside. It's going to not allow us to pull out of the corner quite as high. He's going to get the run down the back stretch. Again, I don't want to run side by side any longer than I have to, so just going to try to see if we can clear him going into 3 and 4. Had to lift a little bit just to make sure I stayed off of him. Didn't want to run into him at all. The longer we do this, the less I'm going to be able to catch the 1 and the 3. We've got 7 to go this time by, so laps are clicking down. Now is definitely the time to start using the tires and try to make the move.
Keep it steady. Still there.
Picked up the throttle a little too early. It's going to kill the momentum off, trying to just keep myself off of the 6. Don't really want to run side by side any longer than I have to, but I also don't want to just give up the spot now. Getting to closing laps, now's the time to start trying to make the move to get by him. Almost able to clear him off of the corner. Have to watch for him to go low, kind of went down the block a little bit just to try to stop that run. He'll have the advantage getting the run down the front stretch. We'll see if he's going to look low or if he's just going to stay behind us. If he does that, we should have the advantage to start pulling away through 1 and 2. I'm going to make sure, again, I'm not getting too low. It's able to somewhat keep it from getting too loose through 1 and 2, but now we've got a big task. 5 laps to close, 2.5 seconds, and it looks like while they're still battling, they're starting to sort it out a little bit and get back in line, nose to tail. 3's able to get by the 1. 2's still checking out for a big lead. He's got a pretty commanding lead, so no real pressure for him. I don't think he's in any danger of losing this race. And I don't think we're going to be able to get to the 1 or the 3 unless they make contact and something happens. So stranger things have happened. We'll just keep an eye out front and see if anything happens. Just got to focus on hitting my marks, running a clean line. I think if we can do that, we've got the pace to stay in front of the 6. Hopefully bring it home in 4th. At least bring it home where we started. Top 5, like I said, will be probably have the potential maybe to be a little bit further up, but top 5 to start the season. Even a lower strength of field is a welcome start for me. You're going to see at least one more race from here for this week. Probably going to run C-Class trucks here and try to get more reps on this style of track. A lot of driving tendencies from this car will transfer over to the trucks and vice versa. So the more I can get the laps, the more I can drill the driving concepts into my muscle memory. Try to make it second nature. Try to improve on it. Try to be faster. So feel like we're opening a little bit of a gap back from the 6. So not too worried about him now, but again, have to make sure I'm on top of my game, running as clean a laps as I can, because he is still probably fast enough that if we do make any mistakes, he'll be close enough to try to capitalize on it. 7's cleared the battle that was out back, really closed up. The 4's actually made a move to follow up with the 7, so 12's falling back now, 13's falling way back, and they are starting to close on us. But again, I just don't think they're going to have enough time to get to us. We've got 3 to go this time. So race is coming to a close. We are in the final stages of it. Probably got on the throttle a little too early, got a little too loose with it coming out of turn 2, but slowly closing. I think we might have had a little bit of pace on the 3 and the 1. Just probably should have used tires a little bit harder at the start than what I did. Pushed a little bit harder and, not quite saved so much. It's all a balancing act that I'm trying to learn how to do. So, slowly gaining on the 1. I think the 1 might have pushed a little too hard early on, like I was kind of suspecting, and, was starting to fall back, but obviously knew enough that what he was going to gain, he was still probably going to come out with a net positive in terms of track position. So, in terms of that sense, and from a race strategy, it was definitely the right move. Just, we weren't close enough to be able to take advantage of it, and not enough laps. If this had been the league race where I'd run, we got in a longer green flag run, maybe strategy doesn't work out so well, but, for this 30 lap run in this race, it was clearly a pretty good strategy. So last lap, just try to keep it clean and bring it home in 4th. Got a nice gap back to the 6, so no real pressure there. And again, unless these two somehow make contact and lose it, no shot at all at getting a podium out of this. But 4th place where we started, nonetheless pretty happy with that. Gonna watch to see the 1 diving in on the inside of the 3, see if they make any contact, go to the wall coming out of turn 4. Looks like the 1's gonna have to concede. He washes up the track a little bit. Fortunately, didn't lose enough time that we can catch him, but able to bring it home in 4th, so I will take that as a start. We'll check the tires too and see how those were, but hey, able to keep it clean. Got back by the 6. Did the best that I could to try to maintain some form of a competitive pace as well as save tires. So all in all, I would say a pretty good race. We'll jump out, check the tires. No real, just some decent side-by-side battles with the 6, but nothing else really of, any kind of error to look at. I know I made a couple mistakes in some laps, but overall pretty good. Let's see, race winner was 59.73, so that'll give us an idea where we were at. 61.78, so yeah, pretty close. Right front probably drove that a little bit too hard, but like I said, I was trying to push a little bit harder the last few laps, so that probably wore out that right front a little more. Probably could have pushed a little bit harder. Maybe if we had run up a little bit higher too, that might have worn out the right rear a little bit more. Kind of gotten that right rear a little bit more in balance with the right front, but overall pretty close to that. I'm pretty happy with that. Compared to the top split guys, fastest guys, I that's still probably off, but for me, that's definitely an improvement. We were able to keep inside of the leader the entire time at least. So, all in all, not too bad of a race. Let's jump out and check out the results, see how we did there. And yeah, feels like a fairly, decent start to the season. Hopefully it's a sign of better things to come. Was top split of 3, 24-23 strength of field. So in relation to me, a little bit stronger. Overall, pretty weak strength of field. Very late time slot. Probably one of the later ones that I'll ever run. So that could be part of it too. You can see we were about 2/10 off in terms of fast lap. Wasn't ever really worried about setting blazing speeds. Was more worried about trying to conserve as much as I could. So able to gain 71 iRating, at least made back a little bit of what I lost that first race, and able to gain 0.14. So we're so low because of the promotion from B to A license. So trying to work as many clean races to start the season as I can, get myself above 3.0, be out of that what I can kind of consider the danger zone under a 3.0 for losing license, getting demoted, or just having issues. So yeah, put some clean races together, work our way up. Nothing to be ashamed of when you got a couple 5K guys up in front of you and almost a 4K guy, that finished in front of you. For me, feel pretty happy with that. So it's just a lot of work in progress and trying to get there as best as I can. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Feel free to leave any comments, any driving tips. Just love to hear from you guys if you enjoyed it. I know for most of the race, we weren't really racing anybody. That's kind of how Michigan shakes up, but had a couple decent battles there, a couple decent exchanges with the 6 that I thought were pretty clean, respectful, and fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Remember to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos. And until the next one, hopefully all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.